property at the moment, I've got two very, very different yearlings to work with. This is Jagger. He's the quieter of the two. I'm not really sure Jagger knows he exists. And then there's Raven, who's a little more cautious about things. So I'm going to start this morning by working with Jagger. I've brought him up, he's hard tied. And today I'm just going to introduce the concept of the saddle going on him. And if he's feeling comfortable, I may progress to doing up the girth. But being only a yearling, he's got plenty of time in the world, so we're not going to rush things and we're just going to go off his body behaviour. So just standing there, I can see in his eye he's a little worried. I've brought him up, I've tied him up, things aren't quite the way he would normally do things in the morning. So I can already see we've got a bit of worry there. And we're just going to work with that. So I'm going to start with giving him a brush and see how it goes. I do hard time my horses. Not everyone likes doing that. Not everyone agrees with that. Obviously what you see me do isn't going to be what everyone would do, and it wouldn't be what everyone would agree with. So, let's just keep that in mind. We all have some different ways of doing everything. I've already done a fair bit of work with Jagger since he was a foal. You can touch him all over and it's generally not a problem. Normally from here, I would just pick up some hooves and have a look. I'm not 100% sure how I'm going to go with that because of my hip. I'll give it a try anyway. Also using a botfly knife because I have 20 hoof picks and I don't know where any of them are right now, which is weird. Tough for foot. Tough. That's it. Good boy. Tough foot. There we go. For those who don't have horses, it's very important when you're cleaning out a foot that you scrape the knife or the pick away from you so that you don't accidentally end up stabbing yourself. There you go. Okay, so that actually substantially hurt. So I'm not going to do the other ones, but at least you have an example of how I would start that process. So we've got some curiosity here. He's a little bit more comfortable. He's like, I don't know what you're doing, but I want to be involved. I'm show him the saddle pad. Just want him to have a sniff. Get to know the thing that I'm putting on his back. Move it around a little bit. He doesn't really seem to mind the concept. Jagger has seen the saddle before. I was playing with some horses in the paddock once and had the saddle with me and he came up to me and I just kind of stuck it on him. So it's not an entirely new concept to him. I use my good old Wintec. This came with my first pony when I was a kid and this saddle is actually older than I am. But it's a good old faithful for sticking on horses for the first time. Obviously I wouldn't go riding a baby in this, but right, so that's obviously not a problem, but I have noticed that I've put the saddle pad on backwards, so I'm going to fix that. he hadn't already been introduced to the saddle at this point, I would take the saddle off a lot and put it back on just a lot, just on and off, on and off, on and off, on and off. He already knows a little bit about it, so we're not too concerned. I don't know if this girth is going to work. Even though he's a baby and I have no intention of riding him, I'm still doing everything that I would do for any of my horses if I was just tacking them up to ride. But because this is his first time with the girth, because this is his first time with the girth, I'm going to untie him, hold the rope so that if he does explode, it's okay, I'm there with him and I can handle the situation appropriately. Make sure I'm in a position where I can slip it out of the way relatively quickly. I'm just going to pull it up. All I'm doing is holding it there. Now he's giving me a couple of little worried symptoms. He's just not 100% sure what's happening. It's okay, he's allowed to be confused. Steps, so I just go with him. You know, at this stage it's mostly about just going with them. Excuse me a sec. Right. So here I've got the girth. I'm starting to do it up. Just loose. Couple of holes. I had sort of hoped that he'd stand still for this. But Jagger's obviously not a freeze type. He's a, so I'm going to have a bit of a wander type. I actually prefer that. It just makes it hard filming. And this is where if there's going to be problems, there usually is a problem. It's that second bit of pressure from that second strap on the girth. Just being aware of his body behaviour, I'm just going with him. You know, but there's no sign inherently so far that has told me I should stop what I'm doing. There we go, it's on. It's very, very loose. Goalpost. Yes, he was accepting. Yes, I could push him now further if I wanted to, but I reached the goal that I actually set out to do. So there's no point in going any further. These horses aren't on timeline. I don't have a training deadline with any of them. So, you know, why bother? Oh, ow. So there we go. That's girthing up Jagger for the first time, I guess. And I'm just going to put him back and let him go.